Hi everybody, welcome back to the tasting room. We're sampling today a classic. This is Jack Daniel's Old Number 7. So if you've ever heard of whiskey before, you've obviously heard of Old Number 7. I mean, it's one of the most prominent whiskeys around. It's a Tennessee whiskey, and it's not quite a bourbon. It can't be called a bourbon because a lot of Tennessee whiskeys, what they do is they filter through maple charcoal, and that adds another flavor to the whiskey. In order to be a bourbon, one of the requirements is the only wood it can come in contact with is that charred white oak barrel. Now that being said, Old Number 7 is a staple go-to for a lot of folks. I personally have never been one of those folks. I've never bought a bottle myself. This is actually a buddy of mine who came over for poker night one day months ago before all this COVID stuff started. He came by with this little pint here, and at the end of the night just left it here, didn't take it with him. So it's just been kind of sitting collecting dust in my liquor cabinet for ages. And I came across it the other day, and I thought I'd better review it for you folks. Now again, like I was saying, it's been a staple for many people. It's easy to find. It's affordable. Heck, it was Frank Sinatra's favorite. You know, you got to respect Frank. So this here is 40% alcohol, 80 proof. It's bottled at, and made in Lynchburg, Tennessee, which is actually a dry county, strangely enough. All right. So very grainy on the nose here right away. Lots of corn. There's some definite ethanol. There's maybe a touch of that maple sweetness. Not getting a whole lot else here. Kind of plain Jane, a little rough around the edges, but not offensive. I mean, there are some pleasant aromas in here. Okay, and herein lies the general problem that I have with Jack Daniel's Old Number 7. You know, for some reason their single barrel stuff is great, but this Old Number 7, there's not a whole lot going on the palate. I can't. There's not a whole lot of distinguishable flavor to me. You know, it goes down there. It's got a touch of that, you know, that corn grain feel. You know, there's a little bit of that maple in there. But it dissolves quickly. You know, it's a little hot going down, and then the finish is hot and peppery. You know, a lot of cracked black pepper here on the finish. More so more spice than you would typically expect for an 80 proof whiskey, in my opinion. You know, the finish does have quite a bit of linger to it. Yeah, peppery with that kind of that ethanol heat in there. Finally, as that spice starts to fade on the back end there, you're left with maybe a little bit of a remembrance of oak on the palate. Maybe a little tobacco leaf. And there you have it. Okay, for the nose for this one here, grainy right up front on the nose. There was that presence of maple sweetness. You know, definitely some corn there. Some good classic whiskey note aromas there on the nose. A little bit of ethanol in there, but nothing too prominent. I'm going to go ahead and give the nose for this one 19 points. For the taste, again, a little bit of corn, a little bit of maple, just not a whole lot else as far as distinguishable flavors to me. It just it hits the palate, and then it's on right away onto the finish. It's there's just not a whole lot to me going on in the palate. That said, there's nothing specifically off-putting about it. It's just, yeah, to me, not the highest quality whiskey there ever was. I am going to put the taste for this one at 15 points. On the finish, long and hot, lots of cracked black pepper. You know, so a little remembrance of oak as it fades. I'm going to put the finish here at 19.5 points, and then I'll put the overall balance for this at 16.5. Now, to me, I think there could have been a better balance of flavors if there were more flavor. But that will do it for us. That will put this Old Number 7 at 70 points. So maybe they should have called it Old Number 70. Well, that's it for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to smash that like button. And, of course, if you're not already a member of my channel, go ahead and hit that button and subscribe. And then after you do, make sure you ding that little bell next to the subscribe button and make sure you get notifications of new videos that come out. New videos come out on the weekends, and I would hate for you to miss one. So go ahead and do that for me, and I will see you again next week, right here on The Tasting Room.